Welcome to another edition of iWake. I'm Chaten, and this is what happened in the past week of Apple news. So welcome back to another edition of iWake. It's been not a daily show the past week, and my apologies there. A lot of stuff going on, and mainly a lot just lacking news. So today's show is going to catch you up on what happened in the past week of Apple news, as well as something I've been playing around with here at home. And just for next week, I'm actually going to be traveling, and I'll be in Columbus, Ohio, all of next week pretty much. So iWake will once again be on a weekly schedule where I'm going to try to catch everyone up during the weekend or on Monday about what happened in that past week. So next week is going to be a weekly show format as well. So my apologies there. I do my best to make it daily, but it does not always happen. So let's catch you up on what happened last week. First up, the Pebble smartwatch got a pretty big software update. Pebble likes to do software updates every 2 weeks or so, and they're doing a good job with that. They launched their SDK. It's now live, so developers can develop watch faces and apps. And most importantly for me, though, is they fixed the battery bug, which would drain my watch within 24 hours. So they fixed that, and I've noticed appreciably better battery life since this bug fix came out. Next up, little tweet from Clayton Moore's Mail Pilot for iOS, a $15 App Store email client. This is a really powerful email client, and something if people want to have some sort of high-end email client, this is it. Clayton Moore's links to The Verge's review, and overall very favorable reviews there. Next up in the entertainment industry, I just want to mention the Walking Dead producer Glenn Mazzara is in talks to write a Shining prequel. And this is really intriguing because right now in the entertainment industry we have Bates Motel, which is a prequel to Psycho, and we also have the prequel to Silence of the Lambs with the Hannibal series, and both of these are great series. So this would be really curious to see yet another prequel. It seems like we're in the age of let's go back and tell the story of how they came to be that way, and it's an interesting thing for sure. I'm enjoying Hannibal as well as Bates Motel. I think they're both really well done, and just something of note there. Next up, Pixar Campus has a tree dedicated to Apple's co-founder Steve Jobs. It has a little plaque under it, and just something interesting I found in the show, in the news this past week here. Next up, Showtime Anywhere. This is an iOS app which lets you watch Showtime stuff if you are a subscriber. It's been updated for Comcast Xfinity subscribers and iPhone 5 in iOS 6. So if you are Comcast Infinity, as we are up here in New Hampshire, this was definitely an update to get and check out. Next up, Ambrosia Software, the makers of Audio Hijack Pro and many other apps, has been doing some layoffs. They're not doing so well. Ambrosia is laying out a lot of people, and they're staying in business, but this is certainly sad news. It is really telling, though. Ambrosia hasn't embraced the App Store. Ambrosia hasn't even updated many of their apps for Lion. They're still stuck at Mountain Lion for many of their core apps that are the big profit centers, and a lot of people have lost trust of Ambrosia because they just simply haven't updated their apps for the latest operating system. So that's what happens when you don't do things good for your customers. So just something of note there. Next up, Real Racing 3 has an update for iOS. It adds new vehicles from Chevy, 100+ new events, cloud save, and much more. I've played around with this new update. It's a much better. You get bugged a great deal less about in-app purchases. You're not asked nearly as often about those, and it's a more enjoyable gaming experience. They've updated the UI to showcase what percentage along you are in each of the tracks and how many you need a score on still. And it's a really solid game that keeps on getting better. I have not paid a penny in this game, and I continue to improve and get better and better scores. Next up, AT&T's LTE network is expanding by summer to 79 new areas. Most unsurprisingly is that Manchester, New Hampshire is not in that listing. We have Anderson, South Carolina, Athens, Texas, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Columbus, Indiana, Davenport, Ohio, and many, many more. As I said, 79 different places here. There is Portsmouth, New Hampshire, but yeah, still nothing in Manchester, but 79 new areas, and hopefully it gets better after this. So good news there for AT&T folks. Next up, the mail service, USPS, has reversed its plan to end Saturday mail delivery. So initially they wanted to stop mail deliveries on Saturday. They are reversing that decision. The government evidently gave them no choice. They are forced into continuing this service, which is pretty cool, I think. Next up, Panic has released a new app, a data visualizer app for the iPad. This is kind of a status board app, and it's called Status Board. It's a $10 app with, I believe, $40 in-app purchase to do HDMI out. This is really a business solution if you want status boards and just monitoring of Google Analytics, ad performances, whatever your heart desires, really. It's got an open API to develop these widgets for this program. I used to work at a company that did these status boards, had like 6 or 7 LCDs on the wall at work, and it was cool to monitor what was going on and site traffic, things like that. But yeah, pretty cool app, and definitely something for the business and the people. Next up today is just a brief mention of OpenEmu. It's a Mac application that aims to be a good way to work with emulators on your Mac. So that's that. I guess I'm not sure if I talked about this last time, but Austin, Texas will be the home of Google Fiber that has been announced. And now let's get into the second part of today's show. This part is where I'm talking about something I got last week and I've been enjoying so far. And I'm talking about the Nintendo Wii U. So I have not owned a video game console since the PlayStation 2 and N64 days. Back, I believe, high school or middle school was when I last had a console, gaming console. I did not go for the Wii because I didn't think the motion thing of it all was something that could be a primary interface for every single game that I want to play. I like regular controllers more than I do the Wii stuff, even though that stuff is fun every now and then. The PS3 and Xbox 360 felt too much like a hardcore gaming system. So I decided, hey, I like iOS gaming, but let me try consoles again. It's been a while. So the Wii U seemed to fit the match. It's got stuff in there for the hardcore gamers. It's got nice controllers. It's got Call of Duty. It's got some games that are both for the hardcore gamer, but also casual gamers, also the motion stuff. I think it's got the perfect match for what my sentimentalities are towards gaming are. So it's got everything I want. It's got all the Mario stuff. It's got some first-person shooters, and most importantly, it's a small system. It doesn't take up this huge amount of space, and it doesn't make a lot of noise, and it's from Nintendo, and I like Nintendo. I had the N64, and that remains one of my favorite consoles that I've owned. Some great memories there. And so what about the Wii U that I like? I love this gamepad thing. So this gamepad is, and my apologies if you don't like this part of the stuff where I talk about gaming. That's why I put it at the end of the show. But let me get into the Wii U and some thoughts about it. I think many people may enjoy this. So the gamepad is the controller. It's got a 6-inch screen in the middle of this controller that's used in some games for a secondary screen device, and some games really use that in a really cool way. Zombie U is one of the best ones that does this. Others use it for maps and inventory and things like that. It's really a helpful thing to have on there. The other cool part of the gamepad is most games, I'd say, allow you to play it on the gamepad itself, meaning this controller can be used with the TV switched off, with the TV on a different input. As long as there is power going to the Wii U, your gamepad is able to completely control the Wii U interface and play pretty much all the games. I could even play online multiplayer Call of Duty from this gamepad, and that's a remarkable thing. It's using some sort of fancy wireless connection paired just between these two devices, so you don't need an internet connection to actually make that all happen. It just works. You could plug it in a subway and it'd still probably work. So that's something I'm really enjoying, because I'm able to take out the HDMI plug and plug in my Apple TV to watch some stuff while I'm finishing up some games on my Wii U gamepad. I'm also able to, in bed, just grab the gamepad and play some games there if I want to, and that's a really cool experience. It's not a portable gaming system, but it's portable within your house. You're able to utilize it in the area you're using it, and you don't have to have a TV dedicated to it. You can be doing some other stuff while you're gaming, and that's a really awesome experience. Even some of the NES titles are on that gamepad. I can play Punch-Out from NES on there, and that's really cool. I'm really enjoying the graphics quality of it. As far as what you're seeing on the big screen as well as on the gamepad. Audio comes through the gamepad speakers nice and loud. The controls feel great. I love having those dual analog sticks up there, and it really has opened up a new world of gaming to me. I'm back in the modern gaming world. It's been over a decade since I've been in this console world, and I have to say I miss it, because these are some really great experiences I've missed out on. I'm kind of glad I missed out on the last generation. I don't think anything really suited me quite well. The cool thing about the Wii U is it basically is an entire Wii console in there, where you have the sensor bar and those nunchuck things if you want them, but for the majority of the games you're playing, you don't need them. You just use that gamepad, and it works really well. And the cool thing as well with all this is, is that I understand the need for iOS gaming, and I like iOS gaming, but I'm starting to realize why people liked consoles so much back when I was saying, hey, just get your iPad and that's it. There is merit to this. Everything's not done perfectly. It took a long time to set this thing up, downloading the system updates, things like that. But overall, it's a fun experience, and I'm not regretting at all the fact that I got the Wii U. This is, I think, Nintendo's best console to date. This is a really great experience. I love my the N64, but it just is funny to see the graphics compared to what we have here. And also the gameplay is, I think, better on these new systems. The Wii U has a lot of awesome games already on it, and it's got an exciting release schedule ahead of it. I'm really curious to see how they do Super Smash Brothers with multiplayer. Let me wrap up the Wii U stuff and close out the show today. One final thing to note is, since I'm not a hardcore gamer and not someone that's been into this that much, one thing I do appreciate is the online multiplayer aspect of Call of Duty. I don't feel like I'm inadequate playing the game online with other people at this. I think if I was on the Xbox 360 or PS2, or PS3, my apologies, I think if I was on those consoles, I would have a not enjoyable experience because of the hardcoreness of all the people on there. I think my skill levels would not be sufficient on those consoles. I'm playing on a console that I think have less of those hardcore gamers, and I'm not doing pitifully bad, which is kind of cool. So, with that said, if you're thinking about getting into the console world, I would highly encourage you to look and consider getting a Wii U. It's not terribly expensive for what you're getting. It is a really great experience. The games are top-notch, and who doesn't love Mario? Come on. So anyways, the Wii U, my full recommendation. It's a great system that I'm really enjoying, and I really hope other people get to experience this quite remarkable system Nintendo has put together. So with that said, I'll be back next week for another edition of iWake, where I'll dive into what happened while I was in Columbus at this trade show I'm going to. But with that said, thanks for listening to today's episode. You can find the YouTube version at youtube.com/tchaten. No show notes today, but I should mention I have another podcast that is now airing called the International Film Club. It's hosted with Mark Greentree and myself, where we basically just dissect and review one movie a week. And you can find that on iTunes. Just search for the International Film Club. I retweet a lot of the links there. I think it's internationalfilmpodcast.com if I'm not mistaken. So that's a 30-minute podcast that comes out every Friday. So if you're into films and movies, go check that out. And my books, iPod Evolution, and my other ones are in the iBookstore. Just search for iPod Evolution to find those. And with that said, thank you for tuning into today's podcast. I'll talk to everyone again on the next edition. Bye-bye.